Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Recovery Perfects, where you will learn practical tools to help you follow good, orderly direction. Today, we're exploring Deuteronomy chapter 7, verses 7 through 16. It works if you work it. God did not set his affection on you and choose you because you were more numerous than the other people, for you were the fewest of all people. But it was because God loved you and kept the oath he swore to your ancestors that he brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you from the land of slavery, from the power of the Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Good orderly direction has worked for centuries to help people find their way out of the slavery, if you will, of addiction and mental illness. And following these principles helps you have a problem-solving structure so you can make the best decisions in the particular time to help you move toward your rich and meaningful life. Know therefore that the Lord your God is God. He is the faithful God, keeping his covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love him and his commandments. Good orderly direction, again, is a framework for love, not only problem solving, but for love. When you are prudent, when you are enduring, when you are respectful, when you are forgiving and compassionate and truthful and earnest and selfless in all that you do, not necessarily in that order, you can start to love yourself and you will start to be able to more effectively love others, and people will love you. You're going to open yourself up to being willing to be vulnerable, to allow people to be there for you, which you may have shut them off right now because you've had such bad experiences in the past. We all want to feel safe and loved. That's just a basic human need. How does following good, orderly direction help you love yourself and keep yourself safe? If you act prudently, then you are making decisions based on the facts in the current context and not acting impulsively. So that certainly is going to help you feel safer, because a lot of times the mistakes we make are mistakes that are made in haste. When you are enduring, that means you are patient. You may be sitting through or sitting with distress because it is better to do that than try to reactively get rid of it. It may be something you just have to endure to get to the other side, like a bad storm. When you are respectful toward yourself, it helps you recognize what you deserve and what you need in order to feel safe and stay safe in your rich and meaningful life. When you're forgiving toward yourself, then you are less rejecting, which makes you feel safer in your own skin. It makes you feel less judged by your own self. When you are earnest in all that you do, you're able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm keeping my promises, I'm doing what I say I'm doing, and I'm doing my very best, both my promises to others as well as my promises to myself. Compassion towards yourself is also important at helping you feel safe, because when you are judging yourself, when you're shoulding yourself, when you're doing all those addicted or unhelpful behaviors toward yourself, you are not safe. You are actually one of your own persecutors, if you will. So it's important to have compassion with yourself, not giving yourself a buy on things that you could have done differently. Learning from your mistakes, having compassion for your struggles, and recognizing that you're lovable even when you do make mistakes. Being truthful with yourself can also help you feel safer. Sometimes we want things to be a certain way. We want relationships to change. We want to be able to do something, but if we're truthful with ourselves, we know it's not good for us. We know it's not the prudent choice to make to stay safe. It's not respectful of ourselves to do this thing that we deep down in our heart know is probably not the right thing. And then being selfless. And when we talk about being selfless, helping us feel safe, It helps us recognize how many people are out there to help nurture us and sort of nudge us along the way in our recovery process. How does not following good orderly direction lead to hardship and distress and separate you from the people that you could love and who could support you? So again, think about your behaviors. When you are behaving, following good orderly direction, prudently, enduring, respectful, compassionate, all those things we just went through, how does that affect the people that want to spend time with you? When you are being impulsive, selfish, irritable, disrespectful, and not compassionate, how does that impact the people who want to spend time with you and who are willing to help support you? How does surrounding yourself with people who try to follow good orderly direction help you feel safe and loved? And why do I say try? Because you know what? Ain't none of us perfect out there. We are pretty much always destined to be somewhat imperfect. Now, it may not be a full relapse, but we may have a moment where we are acting impulsively instead of prudently, or we may have a moment where we hold on to this resentment before we realize, this is not a good use of my energy. But if we are evaluating on a regular basis our behaviors in context of good orderly direction, then we will quickly recognize the error of our ways and we will fix it because we want to follow good orderly direction. We want to love ourselves and be loved by others and be able to love others. So when we're trying to follow good orderly direction and those around you who are trying to do their very best to earnestly be prudent and respectful and compassionate and forgiving, that's wonderful. And when we make mistakes, we help each other pick each other back up. But when you're surrounding yourself with people who don't follow these principles, how does that make you feel? It can feel really scary to me when I'm surrounded by people who are self-centered, self-serving, not caring about others, etc. How do prudence, respect, compassion, and truthfulness help you determine who made an honest mistake and they're going to try to fix it, and who is not earnestly trying to follow good orderly direction? We know that people's behaviors speak a lot louder than their words. In recovery, it's common. It doesn't always happen, but it's common for people to have slips and relapses, but they pick themselves back up. If they choose to not follow good orderly direction, then they keep going down that slippery slope into whatever despair they were experiencing before. If they slip and they say, "Ooh, I screwed up," and they try to do the next right thing and they try to learn from it so it doesn't happen again, they're following good orderly direction. When I work with people in recovery who slip or who relapse, one of the things that we talk about when they come back is, okay, what did you learn from this experience that can help you stay safer, that can help you stay in recovery longer the next time? What did we miss? It's not that you were willfully trying to do something wrong. Most of the time, it's that we missed something or we didn't anticipate how strong a crisis might be and negatively impact you. So we need to learn from those things and kind of bolster our defenses so it doesn't happen again. I want you also to envision a child. That child deserves to feel safe and unconditionally loved. So picture any child, I don't care. When you see a child Do you think, hey, that child doesn't deserve to be loved? No, that's not what you think. You think, oh my gosh, that child deserves to be loved. If that child is sad, you want to show it compassion. You want to help keep it safe. That's just a normal human emotion, and it's not even human. We see it in animals too, that want to protect the young. And animals are a lot better at showing unconditional positive regard than humans are, because their puppies or kittens or whatever make a mistake. They correct the mistake, and then they go back to grooming them or doing whatever. And it's like, okay, learn from it and let's move on. Humans are the only ones that take that and hold on to it and nurture it, which is kind of interesting, but I digress. How does good, orderly direction in parenting help children feel safe and loved? One of the things children crave, even though they may say they don't, but one of the things children really do crave is boundaries, is structure, to know, okay, if I do these things, I'm safe. These are the things that will help me move forward. They may want to go out past those boundaries a little bit, but good, orderly direction in parenting helps us as caregivers recognize, okay, Johnny may be ready to walk to school on his own now, so I can let him do that. And it's a safe thing. He's able to handle that. Parents that follow good, orderly direction prudently assess where the child is developmentally at that particular point in time and make the best decisions to help that child stay safe. When children make mistakes, parents are compassionate. Parents are respectful of the child. They don't have to respect or like the behavior, but they love the child, and they examine prudently what happened that led to this behavior. What was this behavior communicating? In order to understand what happened and to help the child understand what happened and learn from it so they don't do it again. It's pretty straightforward when you think about it. So good, orderly direction is a wonderful framework for parenting. Unfortunately, a lot of people who have abandonment anxiety, general anxiety, trauma, depression, addiction, they didn't have the benefit of being parented with good, orderly direction. They didn't have the benefit of feeling safe and secure in their homes or even in their own skin most of the time. So all of those memories and experiences that were scary and traumatic that you may have locked away because you just didn't know how to cope with it, or you were told you didn't deserve love, those are still there. Those are still locked up in a closet somewhere, if you will, in the back of your mind. And those things form your inner child. Those are the memories that are still called upon when you're reminded of those situations and you start feeling like that scared child all over again, going, I didn't know what to do then. I never learned what to do. What do I do? I feel scared. I feel unloved. I feel unsupported. You are now the parent of that child that is living inside of you with all of his traumas. How can following good, orderly direction in your own life help it feel safe? How can following good, orderly direction when understanding your reactions to life and maybe some of your behaviors and choices until now, how can following good, orderly direction help you help that child heal and feel loved, even despite some potentially unlovable behaviors? If you start feeling safer in your own skin, if you start helping that inner child process what happened and feel safe and empowered now, even though they didn't then, how will you feel different? How will that impact you? Matthew 7, 9 through 11. Which of you, if your son asks for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a snake? If you then know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will God give to those who ask him? So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you, for this sums up the law and the prophets. Obviously, we jumped ahead to New Testament writings, but it's important to recognize that good, orderly direction helps us parent ourselves. Good, orderly direction is a guidebook to help us nurture and grow as individuals. If we are deserving of love, which I believe we all are, then it's important to recognize good, orderly direction is going to say, hey, if somebody needs something and can't get it on their own, we don't want to enable, but if they can't get it on their own, we need to help them find it. We need to help them find a sense of safety. We need to help them experience love for the first time, compassionately and platonically, of course, but acting as caring people, I won't say caregivers, but as caring people towards ourselves and one another is really what we all want in life, which is where it comes down to do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Love them if you want them to love you back. If you are nasty to them, that's probably how they're going to respond to you. If you follow good, orderly direction, you will be able to love yourself and others and be loved by yourself and others. Good, orderly direction helps you unite as a community to create a safe, nurturing environment where you can gradually heal. It's not going to happen overnight. You can put off the old self when you start developing a community that's supportive and safe and nurturing. You can put off that old self with its practices and beliefs and put on the new self that's characterized by hope and love and faith, because that new self is being renewed in the knowledge of good, orderly direction.